both these doctors are missing the point. Dr. Colin Campbell wrote this wonderful book entitled Whole, Whole. And he's saying stop focusing on the vitamin B content of Betty Crocker's chocolate cake or whatever. It's the whole food stream that goes through your body. We don't eat nutrients, we eat whole foods. And if that whole food stream is of whole plant foods going through your system day after day, good things are going to happen in your gut, in your bloodstream, in your tissues. But you start adulterating that with meat and dairy and oil and sugar, health is going to take a nosedive. And that's the ultimate truth of it. And Dr. Means, Dr. Lufkin, they're so fixated on their tiny little aspect of what they think nutrition's about. It's really disappointing. And so Dr. Means is called Good Energy. Thank you, Marianne, for putting that in. And Dr. Lufkin, a great title. I wish I thought about it. His book is What Lies I Taught in Medical School. Yeah. And he was teaching that, I think he was teaching that meat is bad for it. Now, I don't believe that anymore. So Lufkin, Lufkin, his lies are taught in medical school, and it's sad. They both missed the point here. We are plant-eating hominids. Honor that natural law. You'll wind up in a lean, healthy body. Start eating the diet of the mountain lion, you're going to wind up with lots of bad diseases here. So my colleagues have a lot to learn.
On the MAHA movement, it's tricky for Dr. Klaper and me in our team, right? How do we help people navigate this stuff? Because they're saying some things that make sense and they're taking a stand, and they're recognizing that diet and lifestyle has contributed to chronic disease. They want to do something about it. Okay, good. But they're champions, right, of the MAHA movement. There's lots of reason to be skeptical. They lose credibility in certain areas. Dr. Means has this startup. I don't know how big it's become. It's called Levels, and it basically sell memberships so it can scrutinize your blood sugar variability using continuous glucose monitors. So it's this kind of new brand of like biofeedback and personal health. I don't think is really the solution to chronic disease. I think it's for people who are really, interested. Honestly, I think it'd be cool to have a CGM. I would wear it. I think it'd be fascinating. But this is not the answer to create more technology and biofeedback tools and get everyone a membership so they can do this. It does come down to the basics. Right, and it's what we're eating 3 times a day. It's not about supplements. It's not about checking lab panels that are like 100 labs long and cost the patient thousands of dollars. This isn't a viable option. Then you have RFK Jr. himself. I have trouble trusting someone's health advice when they get artificial tans. I'm sorry, and I also worry about, he's done a lot of policy that is really detrimental to public health. So he's gutted the CDC. Vaccines have never been less popular. It's very hard to get people here in Rochester to get a vaccine. So you don't have to be in rural Texas. So it matters, these conversations that are coming out of the MAHA movement. And overall, I think even if RFK Jr. has good intentions, now he's gotten himself wrapped up with the boss and the base, and he's constrained, not to mention the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. I think he's constrained to do a lot, even if he wanted to. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The MAHA movement is such an interesting combination of finally breaking through in some ways to talk about these issues that we've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and then saying all the wrong things about It's very frustrating, but at least we're talking about it. And Dr. Klaper, one of the I'm not sure how much we could go into it, but I have to say, as a lawyer, I so appreciated your idea. I mean, because you were facing the fact that not everybody agrees on what the right diet is, and you can't just. We're not going to get to go into medical schools and tell them, no, this is the right one. This is the one you should teach. And having this idea of creating these legal arguments and having people having legal designed after appellate arguments or trials, like and evidence, bringing evidence forth. The law is always trying to find not the truth necessarily, but the closest thing we can come to the truth, because you can't always know the truth. So I just want to say I love that idea. And I think that's a very powerful way for, now that this debate has been opened, for you to bring in, these arguments, because you're not saying my way or the highway. You're saying here's a time-tested method for finding out the truth. And we all know if we're actually looking at evidence, we're going to win. I mean, come on. I'm not sure there's a question there. If you want to talk anything about your idea for bringing that legal argument, I just wanted to mention that I loved it. I loved it.
Go ahead.
Zach, you've actually experienced this situation fairly recently of being in medical school. And do you think this reluctance to add nutrition to the curriculum is, I mean, the argument they seem to give, which seems ridiculous, is there's not enough time. I mean, if it's important, it's important. Like, you have to make the time. I don't know. But do you think that's true, or do you think it's hiding something else? What was your experience of medical school? And I know that you had a lot of trouble just bringing up the issue that you were it was kind of a DIY effort on your part. So what do you think was really behind that?
Sure. So I'll give you a glimpse into my medical education in terms of nutrition. I had a great education, and I appreciate my faculty. And you have to learn some things about medicine that don't, it's not all nutrition. Like, it's important to have a diverse curriculum.
I know.
What we did learn of nutrition was what Dr. Klaper mentioned. It was these really obscure vitamin deficiencies that we don't see in the United States. You might see them. These are important topics in global health and epidemiology. We're talking about vitamin deficiencies, protein deficiencies, like when you see those really horrible ads for like donate to children in sub-Saharan Africa, and their bellies are distended because they're actually protein deficient. We just don't see it. If you ask any doctor in this society, they only see protein deficiency in people with terminal cancer or AIDS or certain kidney diseases. So the nutrition we did learn, maybe about 10 course hours, was irrelevant to modern practice in this area. Why was it that way? I think there are a few reasons. One, our professors didn't learn about it either. And doctors, we like to be confident about what we're teaching. So they didn't know the information. They can't teach to the next generation if they don't know it. Number two, I think the pharmaceutical industry is involved in every facet of medical research and education, and they've really captured healthcare. And they don't necessarily want the next generation of doctors to be fired up about diet and lifestyle. Right now, 80% of antibiotics in the country go to farmed animals. And the highest grossing drugs of all time are for chronic diseases. Things like, if you've had a stent after a heart attack, or if your cholesterol is high, you need a statin, or some of these fancy biologics that more and more people are requiring for their autoimmune conditions, which in large part are coming from complications of metabolic syndrome like obesity. So, and they donate to medical schools, right? Drug companies, and they heavily influence the medical guidelines coming from our professional organizations. There are guidelines that get updated regularly, and they say, all right, you have a new diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. What should you do? And the organizations that are so trusted to give us that info are taking generous annual donations from Big Pharma. So are they going to be as outspoken as they can and should about the role of diet and lifestyle, no, they're going to say, all right, first line, pay lip service to lifestyle. Then immediately after that, you could either start metformin or GLP-1 like Ozempic. And that's the juicy stuff. That's what med students are made to think is important when they're going to go out and practice. They really need to know how to become glorified drug dealers. But when you show medical students that there's another path, and you can actually not just manage but reverse the vast majority of these chronic diseases, they also get excited. And that's the fulfilling part of our work in the organization, moving medicine forward, is we get to expose some of these students to lifestyle medicine for the first time, or it's another touch point if they've heard about it some, and we show them that it's a viable way to practice, it's a viable career path, and they don't have to just refill meds and increase the dose every visit. They could actually heal people.